Can I please get a motion to accept the minutes of our July 11th meeting?
So move.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Council, if you would indulge, I wanted to take a motion to take document number 219-13 off the, out of order.
So move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Document number 219-13 is with regard to the housing code. It's an ordinance change proposal that has been proposed by Councilor Toomey with regard to changing our method for issuing the certificates of compliance. Councilor, you're here. Do you want to speak on that a little bit?
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Chair. This evening also, I asked our Finance Director, because he is also a co-authored this Housing Code Ordinance, Mr. Mark Ianello. What we want to do is to update our occupancy permits for rental units to a yearly basis. Right now, it's based strictly on when a new unit is built, they go in and they issue an occupancy permit. Or if someone moves out, the person who owns that property is supposed to notify inspectional services, and they come in and they do another one. A lot of times that does not happen. Many times it does not happen. Occupancy permits are done basically for health reasons. And that's the basic reason that they are being done. Also, throughout the year, there are over 18,000 rental units within the city of Lawrence. 18,000. These are legal ones that they know about. Okay?
Sure, yeah.
There are many. We know that there are many throughout the city that are like 3-family homes that might be 6-family homes, or 2-family homes that are 4-family homes. And through the use of this inspection every year, a lot of these homes could be, a lot of these apartments and these rental units can be brought up to code. They can be through the yearly inspection. So what I'd like to do is to have this thing forwarded to the attorney. Mark Arnello and I will be working with the attorney to adjust the ordinance, and it will be presented back here to the subcommittee for approval or looking at, and they can move it up to the full council.
Sounds good. Thank you, Council. Thank you for that proposal. Does anyone have any questions for Councilor Toomey on the proposal?
Actually, I don't. I was with him when we had the first meeting, so I
Right.
don't know if the Council President has any questions, but
Oh, I'm sorry. I did not mention that. This was co-sponsored by Councilor Reyes, and I should have noted that.
that's
Thank
okay.
you.
No problem.
Just a quick question, Madam
Sure.
Chair, through you, because I know I'm trying to
Sure.
be politically correct in how I address this issue. This is a tough issue here in the city of Lawrence, and I understand that we're losing a lot of revenue because we don't do enough inspections. My question is, once we create this ordinance, do we have the capacity to enforce this particular ordinance? Councilor Toomey, as you know, right now, we're understaffed, and we'd love to have more inspectors out there
Well,
to enforce the current ordinance that we currently have in place. I think we're having issues right now
right,
enforcing what we currently have.
but the purpose in back of this really is to get the ordinance changed, okay? Once the ordinance is changed and in place, then a study can be done. As a matter of fact, Commissioner Blanchett is in the process of doing that study to see how many people, additional people he would need in his department to see that this is fulfilled. But the first step would be to get the ordinance approved, and then work on how many people would really be needed to be added to the Inspectional Services Department to fill the obligation.
So this will be a yearly inspection,
Yearly inspection.
correct? Whether it's vacant or not, you're still going to get inspected,
Well,
and you have to
all
pay a
the-
fee?
Well, see, all these things have to be looked at. First of all, I don't believe it's necessary to have an inspection mid-year if a person has moved out and this new person is moving in, if we have a yearly inspection, because it's going to be inspected anyway. So that's one phase that would not be applicable. There are other things too, as we go through the ordinance, that can be changed.
I agree with you in terms of, I agree that you should probably do an inspection every time somebody moves out, but to do a yearly inspection and put another fee on top of already high real estate tax into the homeowners is tough enough as it is now. And
Well, you know,
to charge them another fee on top of that,
No, but when you look at
it's
it,
overwhelming.
it's $75 a year. That's the inspectional fee.
Each
right?
apartment.
Huh?
That's each
Each
apartment.
apartment.
So if you own a
$75
three-decker,
$75
it's
a year.
75 per unit. Even
Per
the
unit.
homeowner that lives in
Well,
the
that's
building
some-
will get,
That is something that has to be looked at, too. That's a question that I'm not quite sure how it will, that should work out in the ordinance.
I don't want to interrupt, you haven't, I think, valid dialogue. I will say the city of Boston just adopted a fairly similar ordinance that's going into effect on August 31st. And one of the exceptions or exclusions that they do have, if it's an owner-occupied property with three units or less, and they show for tax purposes that it's owner-occupied, those buildings are exempt. I don't know if you'd want to look at something like that, or even if it's a two-family or less owner-occupied.
All these things can be looked at
Yeah,
when
but
we
those
get
are
into the ordinance.
considerations.
Right,
Yeah.
so you're gonna be drafting something with, Ianello, and then you're gonna present it to us?
right.
Fair enough, Madam Chair.
So we're looking for maybe a motion to send it up to the city attorney for drafting?
Well, I think are you working with the attorney, or are you working with, Mark Ianello?
Both of us will be working with
Both
the
of them?
attorney. We're going to be working with the attorney on it.
Okay. Madam Chair, if you want, if you want to take a vote to send it up to the city attorney, we could do that, but I think Councilor Toomer's already doing that already.
Well, we haven't made arrangements with him yet, but we are going to be doing it. This is all
Do you
part
want us to
of,
take a vote and send it to the
Yeah.
city attorney? I mean, it's up to you.
well, what's the normal process that you would use with this, an ordinance like this? Send it up to him for wordage?
We
Is that
usually
how that
send,
works?
yeah, you usually work with, with house counsel, well, not house counsel,
City
What?
attorney, yeah.
city attorney.
Well, send it up to the city attorney with Mark Arnell and myself working with him
Okay.
for verbiage within the ordinance.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to send this item to the city attorney to draft the proper language, and also to the Budget and Finance Director, which is here already, to draft the language, I guess.
Okay. A motion's been made and seconded?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great.
Okay.
Can I get a motion, please, then table document number 219-13?
So move.
Second.
Motion to table has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Great. If I could please get a motion to take document number 189-13 off the table and out of order?
So move.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Document number 189-13 is with regard to the noise ordinance. It was a motion to amend it to include a decibel readings as a basis for the violations to the ordinance. This was recommended by Councilor LaPlante. And at our last meeting, we did ask a representative from the Lawrence Police Department to be here, and they are here. Officer, can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, Sean Conway, I'm a lieutenant, I'm in charge of special operations.
Great. Thank you for being here. I know we had asked you to come down. As we're taking the document out of order, I just need to get that paperwork in front of me. But unfortunately, Councilor LaPlante is not here tonight, which is not tragic, but we will, I meant that in a good way. I didn't, I guess what I'm just trying to say is, I wish he was here because he had done some research, some very specific research with regard to other communities, such as the city of New York and the city of Chicago, that have very specific decibel-related ordinances. And I didn't know if those got forwarded to the police department also, but basically just was trying to get a sense from the police department as far as enforceability and what your folks' take is on this. I know sometimes we do have, I think what comes to mind is the festivals, and sometimes they just seem loud to the people that are farthest away.
Well, you know what, I've been in charge of Samana and Spana for the last,
Yes.
when McGrath left, or even before McGrath left, let's call it the last 8, 9 years.
Yeah.
And Samana and Spana is not allowed. I own a piece of property in Lawrence on Prospect Hill. My 78-year-old mother lives there, and she never hears anything. I know that I'll tell you something. If the wind is moving right down the Merrimack River, meaning towards North Andover picks up the noise. If it isn't, does it make it to Mount Vernon? Sometimes it does. But I'm using Samani Spana not to pick on that group at all. They've done an excellent job. It's just that that's the largest festival we have.
Yes.
I get the same problem when we have the Feast of the Three Saints, and the band is playing at the end of Union and Common Street, and the wind is blowing towards the Merrimack River. It picks it up, it just funnels it right through the mill buildings. It hits the river and goes down. those are few and far between, and if I knew that noise ordinance from Semana Hispana or from the Feast of the Three Saints happens once every year, in my 26 years of police, as a police officer, I can live with that, and I think people in the city of Lawrence can definitely live with that. With us, it's the everyday noise, it's the cars, it's people that are allowing the music to go over the boundary lines. That's a thing. In the city of New York, city of Chicago, I believe their ordinance doesn't have a footage. It may, but I haven't read it in a long time. I remember when this came out, Don Cronin, an old sergeant that has since retired a number of years ago, him and I worked on this together, and we looked at certain decibel readings. Right now, pretty much the standard practice with the Lawrence Police is, if we get a call for loud music, and we get down there, we can hear it, we address it immediately, and we turn the music down. If we can't, we address it with the homeowner, and we say, if we come back, you know what, the game is up. And 9 times out of 10, most people do it. I think that a lot of people in the city, they complain about loud cars going by. We have it, so it's 25 feet, excuse me if I read this right, it's 25 feet from such a device when operated in or on a motor vehicle in a public way or right of way. What that means is we have to be a measured point. It's a lot of work. We've done it before. I remember being at Lawrence and Park years ago, me, Marco Ayala, Tommy Caraballo, Don Cronin, and we had everything measured out, and we were in plain clothes, and we had sound meters, and the problem with the sound meters are, as soon as the radios go off, they squawk, and the sound meter catches it. We have sound meters, they work, they're tuned up. I may have to get them retuned or recalibrated, as they say, but if we were going to look at this, 25 feet is a tough distance to do it. Basically, any noise, and I think this is what they do in the larger cities, any noise emitted from a vehicle that can be heard from a sidewalk, I think they kind of declare that as loud noise. Maybe that's something we could look at. The distance thing, I think this noise ordinance has kind of run its course in the sense of 25 feet from such a device when operated in or on a motor vehicle or in a public right-of-way. You can be, how many times have we been at stop signs and a motorcycle gets next to us and revs it up and you hear it, or the car is rocking and rolling and the windows are up? We all know that's over 25 decibels. I think this needs to maybe be removed and just put in there anything over certain decibels. But I think with decibels, you need feet. So I think that even if we get rid of the feet mark, keep the boundaries. I think that's, having noise come over real property boundaries is a very strong thing. That's what we base our $200 citations on in the police department, over the real property boundary. Even coming out of a car, over the real property boundaries, meaning outside the outside of the car. The decibel meters are great, but I don't have a 24-man team anymore. I've got a 3-man team, and we're handling a lot of other things besides this. Most of the noise ordinance are handled by radio cars assigned to sectors. So I know I jumped around a little bit, but that's kind of where we are at in the Lawrence Police Department on this. If it would be my take on it, let's reduce to 25 feet, keep the 70 decibels if we had, which we do have the machines, but we definitely need that real property boundaries. And we use the real property boundaries, whether it's a home or it's in a car. And that's how we do it. I'm standing there, Councilor Moran or Councilor Reyes, we're standing there on Essex Street, and we're talking, and a car goes by, and you and I can hear it for a block away. That's outside of the boundaries, and I'm using that as an example because I know you guys are around all the time. I like to throw Councilor Moran in the mix every once in a while. He likes it.
Thank you.
But I'll answer any question. We do issue quite a few citations for $200. We do issue quite a few.
I am glad to hear you say that you think the focus really needs to be on the house parties and the cars. I do feel like
Right.
festivals are only 1 or 2 days a year.
And the good thing is, if you were with me the last 3 years at Semana Hispana, at 10:45,
Yeah,
the music stopped.
yeah.
The guy was in he was just finishing up, I can't say mid-sentence, just finishing up his song, and the vice president was standing right next to me. She went like this to the guy in the booth, and that was the end of it.
Yeah.
They got up, they put an audio on that said, the music's over, see you later. If they show up late, it's on them, it's on the artist. So You know what? The days of cars racing around the city during summer, those are long gone. And people have to realize that. You know, when they used to have the trains and cars that go through the red lights, those days are gone. We've cracked down on that, and people know better to do that because we'll tow your car. We'll ticket you and we'll tow your car, and we'll hold your car for a couple of days, and nobody wants that. This isn't a lawless community, obviously. And the Feast of the Three Saints is the same thing. We get the same complaints. It's probably from the same people. So on the police side of it, the calls are very, very minimal. It doesn't bother me that the town of North Andover or the town of Andover has got noise problems. I could care less, to be honest with you. We get enough problems from them. They can take a little of our noise. That's okay in my book. I mean, I don't know how you feel, but are you getting the sense? I don't get the sense from the community when I go out there, and I'm out there all the time, that there's a problem with any of these festivals or any of that with noise. Sometimes there are complaints up on Mount Vernon. People are complaining up, you know, on Genesee Street or even farther out, you know, on the Andover line. But that isn't because it's too loud. If it was too loud there, I wouldn't be able to work as close as we are to the thing. That's simply wind carrying that. I know that because I've been to these decibel meter classes. I've been to this several times. I've talked to the guy from Maine that, I think he's from Rockland or Thompson, Maine, that actually does the decibel stuff. I've talked to him about the sound, how far it travels, things like that. Wind can pick that up and move it in a heartbeat.
I will say with the festivals, that first night, the Friday night, I did get calls from like Brookfield and Bowden Street.
Sure.
And I did go out and I could hear it at those streets, but they're both hills going up, and at the top of the
Right.
hills.
But if you realize that the wind
Yeah.
was coming from
Sure.
the Methuen side, so it's blowing into South Lawrence. Had the wind been going the other way, we would have been getting calls from Kirk Street and that from Methuen. So it's kind of hit or miss. I listen to it very closely. I'm outside the command post constantly.
Yeah.
I'm walking around. I was on Essex Street. We were making an arrest unrelated to somebody spawner, and you could very rarely hear the noise, and then all of a sudden the station's calling me saying, "Geez, we're getting calls from Mount Vernon that the noise is going." I said, you know, it just doesn't fit. You know what I mean? It's
What I
apples
was
to oranges.
just gonna say, I was actually, maybe it was just a change in the wind, but I was actually crediting the organizers because the Saturday night and the Sunday night, I didn't get any calls, and I felt like we had called them Saturday morning and talked it through. And I don't know if they changed stuff, or maybe we did just have better wind, but it
No,
seemed like
I
it was
think that
much better.
everything stayed the same from what
Yeah.
I know of dealing with the organizers, and all it is wind. If the wind isn't that strong, it doesn't go that far. And, you know, I've been at Pemberton Park, and you can barely hear it at times, and I've been at Pemberton Park when you think you're right next to the stage. So I sympathize with people, but
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, you know, it's minor. And this, for 3 days, you know, you don't get 3 days of heavy noise. If we did, then I would definitely address it, but I don't see that. But this, I know where Councilor Plant's coming from. He called me on this, and I told him the same thing I'm telling you guys. You know, I was there, I was on Essex Street, and it happened this year. I was with Fabian Guerrero, and we were picking a guy up because the guys were making an arrest, and you couldn't even hear it. We were behind a building, so.
I mean, the only question I have is, Lieutenant Conway's,
Yes,
this festival's been around for 35 years,
right.
and you're only having issues over the last 3 years. It's been around for 35 years.
Right.
Repeat it again. 35 years, so we'll be having issues with this noise over the
Right.
past 3 years.
Right.
I'm getting emails from people from North Andover complaining about the noise.
Tell them to come down. We'll invite them from North Andover, tell them to come down.
This is
You know how I feel about that, you know,
it's beyond me how,
I know.
you know, this festival's been around for 35 years. All
Sure.
the time, over the last 3 years, we're getting all sorts of complaints.
It was never,
It's a
Somani and
festival.
Spano, on the police side of it, I don't mean to cut you off, Council President, but on the police side of it, when I started here in 1995 as a police officer on a transfer, it was cars out on the street. It was people making trains, going down Park Street, going down Broadway, going down South Broadway, going down Union Street, South Union Street. That was our real problems, waving flags, things like that. That has since stopped. We knuckled that down. We wrote the tickets. We've done everything we can. So now it's the music. I don't call it noise. The music in the carnival, And to be honest with you, if the people from North Andover want to complain, they can come and see me, and I'll gladly have a go-around with them all day long.
And back in those days, it was up to midnight.
Right.
I mean, now we shut it down
And they used to
at
serve,
11.
yeah, we shut it down at 10:45.
And serve alcohol in the park.
Yeah, we serve alcohol, yeah, we serve alcohol across the street.
Yeah, I remember.
And that closes down at 10:30, so, you know, I'm with you. I mean, to me, I think it's a great festival. It's
Great
getting a little
festival.
bit smaller, but I don't really see a problem. Yeah, there are the noise carries, things like that, but I think those are issues that I can address. And if it was a 2 or 3 day problem, then you know what? I'll deal with it when I deal with the committee. And they're very open to that. So they're very mindful as to noise. And, you know, we do get a lot at the station if the wind's blowing the right way. If not, we don't get any complaints.
It's a
We get a lot of
festival.
noise complaints throughout the city. So Semana Hispana is just, to
three-day
me, it's a
festival.
thimble.
Happens in every city.
Absolutely.
There's a festival in Andover, downtown Andover, they
Right.
shut down Main Street. They got a
Years
bigger
ago, they-
stage
right.
at the one in Lawrence,
Right,
bigger, right in downtown. They shut the street down. You gotta hear the music.
right. You know, years ago, they used to fire the fireworks over the Merrimack River in Methuen. And I can remember I was on the police boat, and we went up there, and you should have heard the calls coming in from the station for shots fired on Tower Hill. Had nothing to do with the city of Lawrence, but they were doing that.
The only
So-
thing I can say about this ordinance is it's good for the cars and homes. I'm not sure how you're gonna enforce it in homes, especially during graduation season, which is in May. You always have graduation parties
On the
at
police
different
side of it-
backyards. I mean,
on
how
the-
you gonna handle that and, you know, birthday parties?
You know
People
what?
don't have money to rent the halls, so what do? They do it in their home.
And you know what? That's not an issue in the sense of you having a graduation party for one of your kids graduate from college, say, and your child has graduated, everybody's 21, everybody's having a good time, having a few drinks, they're listening to some music, that's not a problem. It's when the music is thumping, it's when you can hear it 2 or 3 blocks away, that's an issue. That's an issue, and that's when we address it. There are hundreds and hundreds of parties every weekend in the city that go unreported, undetected, just because everybody's having a good time. Nobody is blaring the music, the whole 9 yards. There are constant houses that we go to where there are noise complaints, and we address that. And if we go on a second complaint, I know when I was a watch commander, if we went there on a second complaint, we issued a citation, $200. And if we went back on a third time, somebody was under arrest.
So you already have a suggestion for us in terms of what decibels to use?
Right. Real boundary is something that we definitely need. The decibels, I think 70 decibels at 25 feet are good. The problem is, we just don't have the manpower right now, because you have to be in a fixed spot. I can't be driving down the street because the ambient noise from the radio car or from my own vehicle is gonna pass it. You have to be in a fixed position. I have to be standing there to do it. That's the problem with that. Most cities and towns, most large towns, New York, things like that, those are done almost by an enforcement officer from inspectional services. They don't tie up radio cars for that stuff. Here, it's a different story, we go on them.
I don't think you want to compare New York City with Lawrence.
No, absolutely not.
Trust me, I've been to New York City and their
So
festivals.
haven't I.
We're sane compared to those festivals
Right.
that they have.
Well, their bars are open till about 4 in the morning, I don't even want to go there.
And even Boston, But,
So do we want to table this so Council LaPointe can give us any feedback, or do you want to? Okay.
Make a motion to table the item, unless you...
no, actually, I just wanted things, the officers, just to take Semana Hispana as a good example, because that's the one festival that we've been having a lot of issue about the music. And I'm glad that you mentioned it, that the winds has a lot to do with it.
Right.
Because, you know, when we heard the complaint, I live in the district, and, you know,
Right.
hopefully this is happening in my district. I would like just to have an answer whenever, you know, whoever comes and complains, you know, but thank you for that. Yeah,
I'm
I think
open to, you know what, when people call and complain down to the station house, they'll start calling me on the regular radio out in the street. And I'm, anybody that wants to come down, I always tell them to come down to the festival and see me, come to the command post, and I'm right here, and you can see. Because I'm telling you, 1 block away, either way, you can't hear it. And I'll stand by Semana Hispana, that they're doing the right thing.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, make a motion to table this item? Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Lieutenant. Motion to table has been made,
Second.
seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I know Mr. McCabe is here from the Planning Department or the Community Development Office, and, he was here with regard to some issues for National Grid. If you, fellow councilors, if you would indulge me, please, I was hoping to take documents number 192-13, 193-13, and 149-13 as a block. If we could take those out of order and off the table as a block. Motion's been
Second.
made and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Document number 192-13 is request for National Grid to locate permission to locate poles, wires, and fixtures on Kent Street. 193 is a request for permission to locate poles, wires, and fixtures on Leeds Terrace. And 149-13 is a request by National Grid to put poles, wires, and fixtures on Broadway. So if we take those three as a block, and Mr. McCabe is here, I know you're from National Grid, if I can have you just wait 1 second, I'm gonna have Mr. McCabe just give us a quick update. We'll go to you second. We've had an issue, which isn't necessarily a National Grid issue, but it's a utility issue with the double poles. And we've really been working to get this under control, and Mr. McCabe has taken the lead on it, and he's just gonna give us some feedback first.
I specifically wanted to report.
We need you in the mic, I'm sorry.
Arthur McCabe, Community Development Department Manager.
Thank you.
I specifically wanted to report, the last time I was in, I have continued working with Verizon as the, National Grid as the lead, but with Verizon and the other utilities and the fire department. When I was last in, Councilor Vasquez gave me a list of 40 poles in his area, and I want to report since then, as of about 2 weeks ago, 18 have been down, 9 are scheduled to come down very shortly. The remaining ones are primarily just need to be done by Verizon, or there's some fire alarms on them. So we're making significant progress on that list and in other areas in the city too. So I just wanted to report on that because you asked me to come back at the end of the summer. So that's all I had to say. Thank you.
Madam Chair, through you, can I?
Yes, please.
Here's my problem with this whole situation, Mr. McCabe, is what happens if you get fired tomorrow?
Please don't say that.
I'll give you a scenario. What happens if you get fired tomorrow? Who's going to continue that process?
We're trying to set this up so that it becomes, self-performing, self-monitoring. In the past, there have been a lot of different requests coming from different people to the utilities, without a complete understanding of the person making the request, that there's 4 different agencies involved with the whole thing. So we're trying to set up a system that, isn't dependent upon any one person at all. That takes some time. You have some, cultural issues within cultural in terms of institutional within National Grid and the utilities. So you're trying to coordinate with them. Fire department is involved with some of the issues and everything. So I'm trying to make this so it's not dependent upon me.
And that's what we need to see. I've been here 6 years, and the same problem over the past 6 years, double poles all over the place. I go to Andover, Methuen, any other town, you don't see that. Double poles are almost non-existent. You can see them every, 2 or 3 miles.
Yeah.
In Lawrence, you see them every 10 feet.
Well,
Just because it's Lawrence, it's not acceptable. The thing is, we need a process in place. Because right now, it sounds like all we're doing is putting a Band-Aid on the issue. We're giving you where they are, the locations, you're going out, taking them down, you're working with National Grid, but this is just a Band-Aid. We need to put a process in place so, God forbid, if you're not around, that the process continues without you. Right now, there's not a process. You're just working with us, trying to take them down.
I'm trying to
But double
get-
poles are going to be there every month.
Yeah.
We're going to have 2 or 3 requests. As you can see, we have 4 requests here. That means there's going to be 4 double poles
Yeah.
in the near future.
I'm trying to make it a process. I'm working very closely with Mr. Asensi to coordinate what they end up doing too, so that at least one channel of communication so that there can be some prioritization of it. I can't guarantee it's going to happen, but we're trying to make it happen. And I agree with you, it should be a process that is self-performing.
Until I see a process, I still won't feel comfortable. I don't mind sending this 3 up to the full council with a favorable recommendation if the Madam Chair accepts the motion. But consider this the same type of process. This is going to be a Band-Aid from us.
Okay.
We'll probably say yes to 3 because you came back and you remove 18. So we're going to take it case by case. Everything's going to be a
Okay,
case by
no, that's
case
fine.
until we get a process. It's going to get to a point that we're still going to continue to table every item that comes from National Grid until we have a policy and procedure in place.
Again, I can't predict the future. I do have a meeting scheduled for mid-September with the utilities to continue discussions about how we make that process, and I'll keep reporting to you. I hope it works. We're trying, and that's all I can say.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Counselor, did you have anything you want to add, or, no? Okay, I know there's a representative here from National Grid, I don't know if you want to,
I'd just like to address one thing, that the double poles, it's company-wide. It's not just Lawrence. There's more poles in some other towns. I mean, it's not just Lawrence. And they are working, Dave Gendel, are you guys in
Yes,
contact? He has a whole department, and we're trying to work on it, but
Yep.
that's all I can say. And these 3 orders here will not be double poles. One's a replacement, moving the pole, and 2 are to service, they're new poles to service new buildings.
can I ask you a question? When you folks put in the double pole, are you supposed to come before the council every time? I mean,
When we put in the double pole,
when you put in a new pole, like if you're just replacing a pole, that's creating the double pole situation?
right. Well, we have to ask permission to place the pole.
Place the new one,
Yeah.
too. Okay, thank you. Documents number 192-13, that's the one on Kent Street. 193-13, that's the one on Leeds Terrace. And 149-13, that's the one on Broadway. I am looking for the council to send those 3 up tonight with a favorable recommendation. I would like, we've seen some progress, which is better than no progress. And I do feel like, at the end of the day, these 3 in particular are hurting private homeowners who are trying to upgrade their properties as opposed to a bigger corporation. So,
Madam Chair,
yeah,
just a point of information. I believe document 192, Kent Street, I believe that work has been done already.
Yes.
This is, we have a letter, we got a letter from, trying to remember his name, Andy Wall,
yes,
the
okay.
city engineer declaring this an emergency. I believe you were.
Yes, yep, yeah, I was, thank
So we
you.
don't need to vote on this particular, one. We probably should take a vote to withdraw the item, because the
Oh.
item was already done.
That was Kent, correct?
Kent Street.
Okay,
You guys already did this work.
yes.
So I believe that one, we should withdraw it.
Okay. We have a motion to withdraw document number 192-13.
So move.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye. I'd like to make a motion to send document 193 and
149.
and 149 up to the full council with a favor recommendation to order a public hearing.
Motion's been made and
Second.
seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great.
Okay.
So we will have we'll order the public hearing on September 3rd.
Okay,
We usually meet on Tuesdays. In September, we have an election, so the meeting in September will be on Wednesday, the 18th. That'll be the actual night of the public hearing.
okay.
So if you or someone from National Grid could be here on Wednesday, September 18th,
The 18th, okay.
that would be great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Appreciate you being here. Just wanna, Can I please get a motion to take document number 224-13 off the table and out of order?
So move.
Motion's been
Second.
made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Document number 224-13 is from the Lawrence Historical Commission. It's requesting a moratorium on unregulated art murals and installations. It's put on the agenda by Jonas Stunza, the chairman of the Historical Commission. Mr. Stunza, just want to state your name and address for the record, please, sir.
My name is Jonas Stunza, Chairman of the Lawrence Historical Commission, 37 Brew Street, Lawrence. If I may just state one thing about the noise pollution that was mentioned. In the North Common Historical District, that's the territory, the periphery around the North Common District, the amount of events that occur in that district is almost weekly.
Yes.
3 or 4 times a week. So sometimes the impact, we forget the impact on the institutions, stores, and individuals that live in that area. They get to hear this not just once or twice during the year with big festivals, but they get to hear it 3, 4 times a week, which really has caused major problems of, we had discussed in the past of converting older homes into, again, single-family homes. Victorian buildings that were once single-family homes that could help the contemporary population that have very large families to purchase these homes. Those are located in these districts. And the amount of noise is a reason that a lot of people don't want to live in that district. And it doesn't help to reestablish a secure Laurentian. Why are we forcing our people to move out of areas where we want them to buy and refurbish the most beautiful Victorian structures that we have in the Merrimack Valley? But that was the one issue. I'm here this evening to discuss about signage, not signage per se, but about the ordinance that I had proposed about size, style, and appropriateness of place, determining with public art. Several years back, I was chairman of the Northeast District of the Massachusetts Council for the Arts and Humanities. My council district alone distributed more than $1 million a year annually to the Merrimack Valley and all the way to Cape Ann. I had seen many proposals, had been to most of the institutions in the areas, and had a good sense of appropriateness and how they find their history to be historically valuable and how they love their own history. And I want to bring what I learned back to my city. Through those endeavors, through the Essex National Heritage Foundation and area, which is in Salem, Massachusetts, I was requested to do a case study of historical districts in Lawrence. And this is my case file of all of the districts, signage, and an appropriateness of the districts. The only reason that those signs weren't done is because of lack of funding that occurred about 6-7 years ago, but hopefully in the future we'll see these. The thing that we wanted to bring in is that, and these are the examples that I'm going to give you. As a result of those signs not going up, another proposal was done where you see the beehive signs in the downtown area. I don't know if you've noticed them. They're somewhat of an artistically designed honeycomb, and it tells a little bit about the history.
Sure, yeah.
Because they were not regulated, because no one oversaw the project, we had the beautiful entranceway, for example, to the Everett Mill, where they stuck the sign right at the front door in a very inappropriate location and an inappropriate size. On a national register of important places for the United States, the Essex Company building has one of these honeycomb signs placed right in front of it. And this has occurred again and again. I know the intent of these people who put it up was good, to promote and bring tourism into the city, but there's a proper way of doing it, and by not having a sense of regulation, we have these oversized, improperly placed items. This has occurred in the past with other items of artwork in the city. A few years ago, Buddhist flags were placed over the North Canal Historical District, and they remained for 18 months until the Historical Commission put a request in to who placed them on there to remove them because they looked like nothing but dirty rags hanging off a cord that was like a laundry line dangling over the canal. And it actually became an embarrassment. They were finally removed. Over the Union Street Bridge over the North Canal, there's the remnants of an installation that was placed in several years ago. If you notice it on the left-hand side going south, it's a pole that comes up and it has all kinds of broken wires and twisted and mangled. That's the remnants of an installation that was placed there 5 years ago, has never been removed. Over the Lawrence Street Spigot River Bridge, an installation had come to the city of Lawrence for a request of tiles to be placed in on each of the pedestals. The installations were placed in. The tiles have now, the terracotta has deteriorated. All there is remnants of clay, broken shawls, adhesive, and remnants of cement. No one has taken the responsibility to clean it.
Where is that?
The Lawrence Street Bridge over the Spigot River near the Playstead at
Okay.
Irving Avenue.
Yep, yep.
And so now you have bits and pieces of just left over, and no one has the responsibility because it was never discussed while installations were being put in. A mural was placed into the, I'll
No,
speed it up.
I'm sorry.
No, it's just I realized, it can drag on. A mural was placed in the North Common Historical District, again, without any discussion of the commission, bypassing us again, and this has gone on and on and on. As we see it with time, these installations remain, no one takes responsibility for them, and as new items are going up of murals, I asked the installers, who's going to take care of this? And they said, the city. And it's like, it's dropped into our lap. Again, why are we responsible for this if we have no regulations? Looking at a multitude of major cities throughout the United States, Savannah, Georgia, Atlanta, Los Angeles, Milwaukee, Chicago, I've looked at all of their ordinances dealing with public art and also dealing with murals. As the sheet of paper that I passed to you this evening is to be the first paragraph, part of the proposed amendment to the, I guess it would be signage. I'm not exactly sure where it would be located within our ordinances. But the historical districts are overseen by its commissioners and by its commissions. And that which has architectural compatibility and period appropriateness and sensitivity to the historical district. And this is specifically there. Say, for example, if someone wanted to put a mural onto the Oliver School, the Oliver School doesn't need a mural on it. It doesn't need a picture of a big gigantic painting of General Oliver. It is the Oliver School. The building stands by itself. It doesn't need enhancement. In other sections of the city, installations that may have components which deal with obscenity, offensive, derogatory, or create public discord or danger to the public. These would be things that necessarily, say, for example, Michael Jackson, or one of these pictures where Michael Jackson is grabbing his groin. If this was painted onto a building, it's pop art. Yes, it's a poster, you can buy it. But is this what we want to put in the city? Who's determining the appropriateness of that when you'd have a building next door, a school, and the next building down could be a church? It should not be incompatible to exist with architectural and historical sensibility. It shouldn't look totally out of place. Its size should be taken into consideration. We have an installation that was just placed down on Essex Street. It's 15 feet by 100 feet. And it's going to have a matching installation 15 feet away from it.
Where is that?
It's at approximately, it's right after St. Martin's thrift shop.
Okay.
And there's a little alleyway there, and they're going to be, it's next to an attorney and a nightclub. And they want to put two of them, and then include a little parkway so that, and I asked, who's going to maintain this? Oh, the city is. And again, it's being thrown on the city's lap. What happens when it's re-graffitied?
Yeah.
When it becomes a hangout, when it becomes problematic, it becomes our problem. And this is why other major cities have taken this as a regulation. The physical aspects of the proposed art installations should not have components that are offensive or create noise. That's another important factor that needs to be taken. It may sound awkward, but say, for example, if someone put an installation of a gigantic wind chime that was a gong, would you want to live next to it and listening to it 24 hours a day, 365 days a year? If the design of the art installation is not durable and is susceptible to deterioration, a timetable is needed prior to its establishment. So if something is made out of plywood and terracotta, it can't be just thrown up and just walked away with. It needs to be given a time frame. You have a month, 2 months, a week, the weekend, or some sense of appropriateness. I think those fine details can be determined later, but it needs some sort of an oversight, and the only one that I can think that directly it could go to in the historical districts would be the historical commissions, and then outside in other areas of the city would be with cultural councils and neighborhood associations. I think we would then be able to have enough of input of the people, of the citizens of Lawrence, determine how much they would like. If they want the installation in, that's fine. But the problem that I'm saying that we could see the feasibility of the need of a moratorium, that is because there's been art money granted to a group whose main intent is to put up murals. And if they have enough of time, we could have 10, 15 of them in a very short period of time. And after that, it's the tail wagging the dog. It's much too late to deal with the issue. The other fear that could possibly exist if we don't have signage and dealing with its size, we could have a business creating a sense of artwork which becomes its sign. And so it bypasses our regulations dealing with businesses. The perfect example of this is on the highways where you see Burger King, McDonald's, and car dealerships who have regulated signs. So what they do is they put up American flags. It's not that they're so much patriotic than we are, that they have a 500-foot flag. It's just that they don't want to, they can't put their own sign up, so they use the flag in an incorrect way as just as a sign. And so that is another point that needs to be taken, that these murals under the banner of artwork don't become a bypassing of laws that already exist. And the argument that art installations are a remedy for graffiti, really, maybe at some degree it may be, but I don't think that the honor amongst thieves, if someone wants to graffiti something and they want to put their name to it, I don't think that they're going to say, oh, that so-and-so did it, I won't touch theirs. You know, at some point, they become, their egotistical attitudes prioritize above everyone else's. As I indicated, I am not an attorney. I see that this ordinance needs some tightening up, but it's something that I think we need to deal with to make an effective ordinance that mirrors other major cities in the United States and is beneficial for the citizens of the city of Lawrence. And I'd be very happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Mr. Stunzer. I appreciate you getting this issue rolling. I like some of the murals that are in our city. I think, you know, the fire department puts them up after 9/11, and they have maintained them because they're right outside of their fire station. They put it up, they've owned it in that sense. But you raise a very valid issue, as if it's not owned by the person who puts it up for long-term maintenance, then it falls back on the city, and then it is either gonna get painted over, and then we're gonna be accused of desecrating the art, or it's going to fall apart, and then we're gonna be looking at an eyesore. So, no, I think you raise a really interesting concern. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Stunzer?
I just want to thank you for taking the initiative to put this together, Madam Chair. I think this is something that's needed in the city. But it's also, as you know, we have an infestation of graffiti all over the city of Lawrence.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
No, so we have an infestation of graffiti in the city of
Oh,
Lawrence.
yes, yeah.
As you know.
Yeah.
There's one in every other corner. But one of the things that I think some of those murals give some of these kids a pride on what they do.
Right.
They express themselves based on what they paint. As long as it's not offensive, like you said in your
Yeah.
in derogatory, I'm fine with it, because these kids are expressing themselves through art.
Right.
And I don't think I want to get them away from that, discourage them from doing that. But yeah, we need to make sure that we look into it, make sure that we have a size of the mural. I agree with you on that. I think the ownership of the mural is, to me, is key, because some of these murals are going into private properties, on private properties. So if you put it on a private property, the owner of that building should be taking ownership over the mural. And I think something has to be incorporated here into this ordinance, that the owner of the building has ownership of the mural as well, because he's allowing this mural to go on his property.
Right.
After it goes through your committee, or through planning board, whoever is going to be in charge of approving these murals, I believe ownership to me is key. We want to make sure that we know who owns the mural, who owns the building that this mural is going on. Something has to be written here, who's responsible for it. And I like the other, the timetable. If it's deplorable, you have to fix it within 30 days. Is it 30 days, 20 days, 15 days? We have to put a time frame on that.
I think even just without creating necessarily such a tight box, when someone comes and they say they want to do something, how long would you like to have it there?
Yeah.
And let them create a timetable. If it sounds irrational, well, I'd like to see it there for the rest of my life, you know, it's not necessarily, you know, the answer we want to hear, and then we can negotiate. But I think, like, things that, like the shod pieces on Lawrence Street, you know, I go by and I see pieces, I pick them up, but I mean, it's not necessarily, it was a very nice project, but it had its time span, it's done, and now who's going to take care of it? And to take off that adhesive that's on there, it's epoxy. You really actually need someone with a chisel. And what you're going to do is you're going to damage the bridge pedestals by chiseling off. So now the approach to repair it or to clean it is even much more offensive to the original structure than the piece that was put onto it.
I just don't want to discourage the kids from what they do. I mean, like I said, some of these kids, they express themselves through art.
Right.
And I would rather see them painting murals than tagging up the city.
Right.
And that's what's happening now.
I
These
think
kids are all over the city, they're
I
tagging
think
up.
these are two different groups of kids. You know, I think the people that tag because there's some psychological concept behind them. The ones that I see at the art center that I've worked with and everything else, and the history center and everything else, this is our good blood. These are the kids we want to promote in the city. It's just that when you look at it, you have to say, some adult has to say, you know, is 15 feet by 100 feet just a little too big, or can we size it down a little bit? And that pop star that you just put up, in 5 years, will you remember what his name is? And how long do we have to really, like, you know, maybe it can be changed again and recycled so that it doesn't have to be a new mural wall put up. You know, it can be, we can create a time frame and still allow creativity.
This is good. Again, I want to thank you for taking the initiative.
You're welcome.
I think we needed it. This is something that much needed here in the city. Madam Chair, I'd like to send it up to, actually to the city attorney to draft the proper language, because I know there's a lot of stuff that we have to change here in terms of size, ownership. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be written here into this, incorporated into your proposed.
It needs a lot of amendment pieces to it, correct. What section would you put it under? Would it be under signage?
I mean, that's something that's going to have, the city attorney's going to have to work with it. We'll work with him.
Yeah. That's where the other, the other cities have it under signage listed, then a subgroup called public art.
What I'd like to do, Madam Chair, if it's okay with you, is just send this proposed ordinance to the city attorney to draft the language, send it back to the ordinance committee so we can review it, and then we'll make a decision then to send it to the full council.
Mr. Moran, may I ask you to put a recommendation about size onto the,
Size of
that
mural,
proposal?
ownership of mural.
Yes, the signage size also, because that's in my original statement, but I didn't transfer that into the ordinance, the proposed ordinance.
I wrote it in mine, so
Okay.
just to make sure that I'll let the city attorney know that we need to know who's going to take ownership, who's responsible for the mural. If it's going into city-owned property, then it's different, then the city owns it.
Right.
We own it. If we allow it, that means we're going to have to maintain it.
Yeah.
If the owner of the building allows it, and his building, that means he has to maintain it. So we want to make sure this is clear in this ordinance. Wherever this mural goes, whoever the owner of the property is responsible for the mural. And if he doesn't keep up with it, then he's,
But this would be after the city, this review, or to allow it to occur first?
Yeah.
Because it isn't just painting the wall of the side of a building white, it's actually creating another entity, which is a visual impact upon the population.
I want to, just for the record, clarify, we're asking to send two documents to the city attorney. One is a memo dated August 14th, and the other is a sample ordinance language that Mr. Stunza submitted. So if those both pieces could please go up.
I haven't seen it. Is the other one?
It's in the package, this little note, dated August 14th. And then this is what he handed us tonight.
Sure.
Great.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
So I made a motion to send it up to the city attorney to draft the language, Madam Chair.
Motion's been made,
Second.
seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion to table.
Motion to table made,
Second.
seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
I want to thank everyone for your patience. We're going to hit the regular business right away. I've got a, document 203-13 is a secondhand dealer license at 165 Essex Street, submitted by a Victor J. Reyes Peralta. Is Victor Reyes Peralta? Sir, you just want to come up real quick? Can you please state your name and your address for the record, sir?
Yes, my name is Victor Reyes Peralta.
I'm sorry, I got distracted there. Thank you, sir. And this is a secondhand dealer license. Is 165 Essex Street, is that where the license is going to be, or is that your address?
Repeat, please.
165 Essex Street,
Yes.
is that your address, or is that where the license is going to be?
Yeah, this is my address, the business.
That's a business
I
address.
live in the 163 in the second floor.
Okay, perfect.
Yes,
And do you own that building, 165?
Yes.
You do, okay.
yes.
Do you own any other buildings in the city?
No.
No.
Now I have the multi-service in this location. I have the 2 years make business in this town. The multi-service is the transfer money, bill payments,
Okay.
money orders, you know?
Are you going to continue to have the money order stuff too, also?
Yes.
And it says a second, are you selling any jewelry or
Yes.
gold?
No. No, I have accessory, silver, no gold.
Okay.
Yes.
Just so you know, there's restrictions on what you can sell under a second-hand dealer license. It's different than a pawnbroker license. When you get your application, the police department usually comes and talks to you. I do see that they did the query check, but, this is not a full pawnbroker license, so you can sell, there's restrictions on what you can sell with a second-hand dealer license. You can't sell jewelry?
No. Only in the second hand, only sell furniture,
Yeah?
my English no, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
if you
Dígalo.
want, dígalo.
Ok, yo lo que voy a vender es muebles de segunda mano,
Second-hand furniture.
ropa, zapatos, piezas de piezas eléctricas de, I'm sorry.
She's gonna translate it
Yeah.
for you. Go ahead.
Yeah, second-hand clothes and furniture, and what else?
Piezas eléctricas de trabajo, taladros,
Equipments, but,
yeah.
Appliances for the house, that kind of stuff.
yeah.
Okay.
displays.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And this is a new license, she's not renewing an old license, this is a new license. Okay, no, the paperwork is in order, I see that you have at that property, your taxes, your water bills, and your inspectional services are all up to date. You're saying that that's the only property that you own. I do have a sign-off from the city clerk that the filings are in place. I have a sign-off from the chief of police that you've passed his review. Does anyone have any other questions for the applicant?
I'd like to make a motion to send that up to the full council with a favor recommendation, Madam Chair.
Sounds good. Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sir, the full council's gonna meet on Tuesday, it's September 3rd? September 3rd. So if you or someone a representative of you could be here Tuesday, September 3rd for the final vote, you should be okay.
¿Entendió? Que vamos a volver a reunirnos con todos los concejales que hoy no están. En caso de que tengan alguna pregunta, usted tiene que volver en septiembre 3 a las 7 de la noche.
Okay,
¿Ok?
okay, no problem.
Great, thank
Thank
you.
you. Okay,
Good night.
have a good night.
You too.
Madam Chair, can I take document 217 out of order, please?
Which may-
The dedication canal bridge.
Thank you, yep, I'm sorry. Document number 217-13 is the dedication of the Canal Street Bridge. It was going to be dedicated to Staff Sergeant Alex Jimenez. Mr. Jimenez, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Madam
Councilman.
Chair, I put this item on the agenda. Sergeant Jimenez to me, was a hero. Grew up here in the city of Lawrence. He went missing back in May 12th of 2007. He remains was recovered a year later. And there's a bridge right in the gateway area of the city that was built about a year ago. And I want to see if we can dedicate that bridge on his memory and his name. I think that's the least we can do for Sergeant Jimenez, who gave the ultimate sacrifice for freedom that we enjoy today. So I think that's, I think his father's here today.
Yeah.
And you come up, sir?
Come on up, sir.
I think that's something that, as a Laurentian, I think that's something that we need to do to honor his memory for everything he has done for us, and not just for the city of Lawrence, but for the country as a whole.
I think that's a really nice idea.
Diga su nombre, don. Diga su nombre y su apellido. Name and address, please.
Mi nombre es Ramón Jiménez, me dicen Andis. Soy papá de Alex Jiménez Soldado, que falleció en Irak.
It's Andy Jimenez,
Noche.
Andy Jimenez's father. And he's, yeah. Sígalo.
I want to say thank you for everything everybody do for me and for my family in Lawrence. Only for, I want to say, God, I'm good is living in Lawrence because I never feel alone. And something like do now that the bridge for Allen Names, I know that will stay for all life. And I say again, God bless you, everybody, and happy tonight for the bridge. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing us to do this. I wish I could have enough money to put a monument in his name, but I think naming a bridge is very significant for me personally, because Alec was a great person. He meant well, and anybody that wears a uniform to me is a hero already, because they're out there defending freedom that we enjoy today. Sometimes we take things for granted here in this country, and I think that we need to honor these, the guys that are out there fighting for us. And I don't think we do enough. I think we need to do more for them. And this is the least we can do as a city for everything that Alex has done. And I want to thank you for allowing us to do this.
Yeah.
Madam Chair, I'd like to send this up to the, unless you guys have anything else to do. I wanted to send this item up to the full council with a favor recommendation. I don't believe we have to order a public hearing because actually it's a new bridge. I'll send it up to order a public hearing just in case, until I get the other information. You don't have to worry about it. I'm working with the mayor's office as well to see if we can come up with a nice bronze plate that we can put on the bridge. That's the gateway entrance to the city. And everybody that comes into the city, I want to make sure that they see that plaque, very large, so they know that we have one of our own are out there, gave the ultimate sacrifice for us. And I want to make sure that everybody knows who Alex Jimenez was.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Sure. It's up to you, Madam Chair,
No,
if you
that's
want to
okay.
allow
Let
it.
go.
She's the chair now of the committee, so
Madam Chairperson, I just wanted to address the subcommittee. If I can make a suggestion that we transfer the square named after him also at the Gateway site and bridge, so it's one location, for the simple fact that years ago, when the Vietnam vets had come back, there was a North Lawrence and South Lawrence veterans spot. Now the one that's, neither of them, no one knows where the exact locations were now. Now we now have a Vietnam veterans monument in Bellevue Cemetery, but we've never liquidated those two spots. So we have them on paper, but they don't exist anymore. Okay. And I thought that maybe this would be an opportune time to have the entrance, the gateway and bridge named after him, and then have that transferred and moved to one location, not to create confusion later and say, I'll meet you at the Melendez spot, and it's in two different locations in the city.
fair enough. I'll give you a call. Thank you.
Great, okay, so you made a motion.
To send that up to the full council.
Seconded it. We're sending it up to the full council, so that sounds good.
Thank you.
Nosotros lo vamos a mandar al concilio en general. El día 3 de septiembre, el concilio, los 9 de nosotros vamos a estar aquí,
Okay.
ahí se va a tomar el voto final. Sería bueno que usted esté aquí, porque algunos de los otros concejales van seguro a querer tener preguntas o va a querer hacer un statement. I told them to be here at September 3rd.
Not the 18th?
September 3rd, isn't it?
We're going to order the hearing on the 3rd. We're going to have the hearing on the 18th?
But that's the confusion I have. I don't think we need to order public hearings.
Oh, okay.
When we order, we usually, when we put the signs in different locations,
With the squares and
the
stuff?
squares and stuff, and we never order a public hearing for those.
Oh, we don't?
But just in case, I'll let him know. Yo le voy a dejar dicho exactamente si tiene que venir el día 3 o el 17 o el 18. Porque quiero estar seguro de que no tenemos que ordenar una audiencia pública porque es un puente nuevo. Y como casi nosotros nunca ponemos nombre a los puentes. Yo tengo 6 años aquí. I've been here 6 years and we haven't named the
Remember,
bridge.
yeah, no,
So it's a little different for us.
yeah.
Nosotros, tenemos 6 años y nosotros nunca le hemos puesto un nombre a un puente. So esto es nuevo para nosotros. So this is new for us, we've never done it. We usually do just a corner, we name a corner, a street corner after a person. Usualmente nosotros lo que ponemos el nombre de una persona en una esquina con un letrero. Eso es lo que nosotros siempre hacemos. Pero nunca hemos puesto un nombre a un puente. So eso es bien significante para nosotros.
Okay.
So this is very significant to us,
Very significant.
to name a bridge after your son. Muchas gracias.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to go back to regular business. I've got document number 204-13 is a transient vendor license at 34 Sergeant Street, requested by a Sylvia Canseco Hernandez. Is Sylvia here? She gone home yet?
Yeah, she's here.
I need that beautiful little girl to come up with you, Sylvia.
Good evening.
Good evening. Could you state your name and address for the record,
El nombre
please?
y la dirección. Silvia Cansec.
And the address?
En la dirección
34 Sayer.
34 Sergeant Street.
Just want to ask that, this is for a transient vendor license. I just want to make sure if this is a new truck or an existing truck.
¿Ese es un tro nuevo ahora o es algo que usted tenía antes? Ese es un truck nuevo,
Es nuevo.
es nuevo.
So she's had not had this kind of license before?
¿Usted nunca ha tenido esta licencia antes?
No, es la
No,
primera.
this is the first.
Okay, thank you. It's a new license. And what does she sell from the truck?
¿Qué te va a vender?
Nosotros vamos a vender tacos mexicanos.
Taco,
Tacos.
Mexican, basically Mexican food.
Mexican food? Okay. And roughly where does she, what's her territory? Like, what's her?
¿Dónde usted se va a ubicar? ¿Cuál va a ser su territorio?
Por eso yo venía a ver si me podían buscar a un lugar o algo especial para...
No, háblame un poquito más alto, que no le escuché.
Pues yo por eso venía a ver si me podían dar un lugar o especificarme un
So
lugarcito
that was the
para
reason
que
that I
yo...
came, just to see if you can assign me a place that I can be.
Oh, no, she
We
picks
can
her
explain,
place,
but I
yeah.
want to hear from you.
Yeah, she really picks her own place. We just, want to make sure she knows she has to
Yeah,
keep moving. She can't have a certain corner, but she can have a general area. Yeah.
No, nosotros no le tenemos que asignar su área. Usted realmente es quien la asigna, pero usted entiende que usted tiene que estarse moviendo cada media hora. Si usted no tiene gente que está en línea comprándole, tiene que moverse cada media hora.
Cada media hora.
Can you ask her, does she own her house or does she rent?
¿Usted es dueña de la propiedad donde vive o usted renta?
Rento.
Rent.
Because it's not something from the tax collector, but if she doesn't own it, then that, yeah. And does she use propane, like propane gas in her truck?
¿Usted va a usar el tanque de gas que se carga?
Sí.
Yes.
She needs to get a,
Does she has that in the package? Or?
I don't see the fire department in here.
Fran, how about you? Do you have one?
I think she needs to get a, fire, oh, it's here, I'm
it's
sorry. She got them, it's approved, I'm sorry. Pat Ruiz signed it, it's here. So it's not electrical, it's just gas, and yeah, that's fine. Okay, yeah. The paperwork looks like it's in order, everything looks
Todos los
good.
papeles ven que están todo en orden.
I would be looking for a motion to send it up to the full council with a favorable recommendation to issue a new license.
So move.
Motion's made.
Second.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Great, and if you can make sure she knows to be here on Tuesday, September 3rd, 7 o'clock?
Ok, tiene que volver el martes 3 de septiembre, que vamos a tener la reunión en general con todos los concejales que no están presentes, en caso de que unos de ellos tengan alguna pregunta, a las 7 de la noche aquí.
Ok,
¿Ok?
gracias.
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 Buenas noches. All right, document number 205-13 is a transient vendor license at 104 Olive Ave. It was a Raymond Gonzalez, and I believe this is also a new transient vendor license. So you, Mr. Gonzalez?
That's correct. Good evening, Council.
Good evening. Can you just state your name and address
That's
for the record?
Raymond Gonzalez, 104 Olive Avenue.
Okay. You said 104?
Yes, 104, correct.
104, okay. And this is a new license.
Correct.
And do you use propane gas on your truck?
Yes.
Okay, because I see you have it checked for the,
Yeah, it's electrical.
Electrical
Yeah, it's
inspection.
electrical as well as propane.
okay. I just don't see the propane part checked. Usually they check the, there's 2 check marks for
Yeah,
this.
they're both there. If not, I have the copy here.
Okay. The one I have doesn't have them both. The one I have just has the electrical. It doesn't have the fire prevention, which means the gas.
You'll probably find it in there. I came the day after. She had to put it back in the package.
Okay, we get the final package from the city clerk, so I'll double check.
Okay. If not, I have it here with me.
You have a copy with you?
You have a copy?
Yeah, well, I'll give you mine. I have more copies at home.
Oh, we
It's
can
not
make a copy.
problem.
You can give it to Pat. Pat will take care of it. This way we'll just, we'll have it. Now that we don't believe you.
Just need to have it, yeah, it's not. You know what, there's 2 copies in here, and the second one does have it, yeah. Yeah, we have it, I'm sorry, yep.
You have it?
I got it, it's right there.
No problem.
I don't have it.
It's here twice, like, see, the first one's blank, and the second one's signed. Thank you, sir, sorry about that.
It's okay.
I see the police chief has signed off. Do you own your house at 104 Olive, or do you rent that?
No, I own that.
You own it, and it shows that the taxes are paid up, the water's in good standing, the inspectional services is fine for that. So you also have a property at 208, 210 Bruce Street?
Correct.
Yep. That also appears to be in order. Paperwork's all here, everything looks good. Sir, what do you sell from your truck?
Well, same thing as my competition. Just walked away. Tacos.
Tacos,
Mainly
okay.
tacos, yes.
We encourage you to bring samples to our next meeting?
Yeah, definitely.
No, that's great. Everything looks like it's in order. Anyone have any questions for the applicant?
No, I'd like to send it up to the full council with a favor recommendation, Madam Chair.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. Same as for the other applicants tonight. If you could, if someone representing you could please be here on Tuesday night, September 3rd, for a 7 PM meeting for the final vote of the full council, just in case anyone has a question for you, but everything appears to be in order.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good night, Council.
Good night, take care. Next document on the agenda is 206-13, it's Top Notch Networks, requesting permission to use Campagnon Common Park on September 14th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. for a second annual Children's Cancer Walkathon. Was put on the agenda by Joanna De Pena. Joanna? Hi, if you could just state your name and address for the record, please?
Yep, it's Joanna DePena, 604 Harvard Street, Lawrence, Mass.
Great. Thank you. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your event? How many years you had it? Is it
It's
the
a
first time?
walkathon. This is our second time having it. We had it last year. It's great. It's a 5K. We do it for St. Jude. We
Okay.
have Bird Two Trees coming over and sponsoring the pizza. We have water. We have games. It's a pretty nice walk. So
Nice.
something positive for the community, to get the community together and, you know, meet everyone and just enjoy each other's company. That's why I did it.
Nice. When anyone uses the common, we just stress a few things. One is the noise. If you do have any amplified sound like music,
No.
please to be reasonable to the neighborhood. The second thing is some people, you know, to set up your tables or different equipment, if you're bringing a car or a truck onto the common park, there are large walkways. Please keep the cars, but you can't park the cars on the common. After you drop off the tables or sound systems or whatever you're dropping off, chairs, you've got to get the trucks off the common. People
Okay.
can't be parking their cars on the common.
Okay.
And the other thing we always ask everyone is to please have a cleanup plan in place, so
Definitely.
that if you're having pizza and drinks, whatever, just have a team assigned ahead of time. We actually just leave it in as good a condition or better than how you found it.
Definitely.
Perfect.
And I actually have one question. What about parking? I had some issues last year with parking. That was when parking was fairly new, and some people had tickets. I thought it was a weekend, but I've then known that,
Yeah, we do
so-
ticket on Saturdays. You have to pay for the meters. They're I believe up to 2 hours on the meters. You can use the city lot. It's,
All right, that's what I was asking,
the
if we
city
could
lot
use
is
that.
free on the weekends,
Okay.
and you have access to that.
All right, cool.
But people that park on the street, they will have to use
Have
the
to pay the
meters on
meter.
Saturdays.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's all.
Anyone have any questions for the applicant?
No, Madam Chair, it's a great time. Last year, I went by it. Top notch is really top notch.
Good.
Joanna has done a great job.
Thanks.
Joanna has done a great job. It's one of our pride and joy of our community. Joanna is a Laurentian, true Laurentian, making the city proud.
Nice.
We have a lot of talent. You're one of them.
Thanks.
Congratulations. I'd like to make a motion to send it up to the full council with a favorable recommendation, Madam Chair.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. So if you or someone from your group could be on Tuesday night, September 3rd, for the final vote, it's at 7 PM, just in case one of the other councilors has a question. But your paperwork's in order. Seems like a good event.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Next item on the agenda, if we take document number 214-13, which is Gladiator Health and Athletics, they have a youth football and basketball program. They're requesting permission for a tag day on October 12th and November 16th from 10 AM to 3 PM. Put on the agenda by Sam Figueroa, and he's the president of the league. Come on up. Hi.
Good evening.
You just state your name and address for the record, sir?
Samuel Figueroa. It's 3B Platt Court.
Great. Just want to tell us a little bit about your event?
Actually, Michael does all the football, so. All right, so once again, we're back, this year, hopefully on time. The last couple of years, we've kind of tried to rush in the meeting to ask the permission to go out and hold a fundraiser. Last year, we did it on the corners of Broadway and Manchester Street, and in Broadway and Salem Street in South Lawrence. This year, we're asking for the same thing, except we're asking for 2 dates. This year, we are trying to, we've had 3 successful indoor football seasons. Last year, we made it to the championship. We lost by 4 points, but that's not turning us away. We're ready to go back and try to win it again. But we are adding, or we are trying to add a basketball component. We have a lot of people who are interested in us doing more for the kids, and this is actually a request from the parents that we're coaching their kids in football. My nephew here, who's going to speak in 1 second, has a basketball background going back to when he first started walking. So, we got the right coaches once again in place. And again, you guys kind of a little bit familiar with the Gladiator stuff. We're trying to do all the same thing. All the money raised goes to the indoor football. The adults will be, again, in the streets with green vests, with the cans, as the kids kind of just cheer on their teams and ask for donations as they're on the side, off the street with supervision. And again, all that money raised is going to go into the indoor football. And actually, we're trying to get this basketball started a little sooner. So I'll let my nephew introduce himself real quick.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi, Alex Arias, 77 High Street. Basically, we want to incorporate a basketball program. Judging off, some research, there's probably 10 to 15 top-notch AAU programs around the Merrimack Valley, probably roughly 25 altogether. Not one program is from the city of Lawrence. And that's just kind of disturbing because there's a lot of basketball talent and football talent. But obviously I'm talking from the basketball aspect. So basically we want to incorporate a basketball program where we can develop from child basketball, 3rd grade, youth basketball, 3rd, 4th grade, obviously getting into the high school rankings. I spent the 2.5 years working for a program out of Melrose, Mass. I had over 600 athletes in the program. The only problem is they didn't serve our demographic. So it's just one of those things. I had 68 kids under scholarship in the program from Lawrence. And they had a lot of fun. They traveled to over 9 different states, played in front of over 300 college coaches. But it's one of those things, why do they have to branch out when we have it right here? So why outsource when we have the resources right here? So basically we all made a plan together to talk and hopefully try to, with some more basketball identities around the city, try to make a basketball program as well as the football program that's already successful. And there's another aspect that we're making it different, and it's community upbringing as well. we're trying to show the kids it's not only basketball and football, it's also academics, it's also getting out there, cleaning the park, adopting a park, just talking to their peers, hey, what's going on, just being that positive energy coming from us all the way, stemming all the way down to our program. So that's really in a nutshell.
Thank you. It seems like a good program. I know you guys have done this in the past, and I know it's been successful, and we've never had any complaints about your group. We just hear very good things about your group, which is really nice. Does anyone have any questions for the applicants?
Madam Chair, the only question I have, I think you point out something very key. It's, I mean, you're gonna be on the street, right, Michael? With, you gonna have the kids out there?
No.
Okay. I just wanna make sure they're safe.
No, only the adults. We've done this the last 2 years. This will be our third, and we've never had any of the kids in the street. They've always been on the side with an adult. Wherever we kind of go on the four corners, and at no point in time is any of the kids on each corner without an adult. We make sure, you know, this is our time to bring in the parents and have them out there and spend the time with the kids. And even the parents get into it. It's a beautiful sight. The parents come out, they bring their pom-poms, but we always make sure we have an adult on each corner with the children, and then usually it's like either one person, you know, doing the, like I consider it like the firefighters, you know, they walk with the boot, except we do it with like the helmets and buckets.
I was just gonna say, the firefighters are big kids, so.
Yeah.
Just to add to what Michael said, Big and Beefy does allow us to use their spot. So we do some parking in the kind of the parents, that's where our huddle is. So it gives us some space for the kids to kind of have their signs and stuff. And then Carlene's also allows us a little bit of space on their area, so we can go ahead, and they even allow us to actually put kids in front of their doors.
Nice.
So we can actually fundraise there as well, so.
All right, so,
Perfect.
Madam Chair, I'd like to send that up to the full council with a favor recommendation.
Okay, great. A motion to send this up has been made.
Second?
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. So again, just like the other groups tonight, if someone from your group could please be here on Tuesday evening, September 3rd, for the final vote of the full council. Meeting starts at 7 PM, just in case one of the other councilors has a question, but it seems like everything is in order and you should be all set.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Have a good night.
Good luck, guys.
My poor friends with the Civil War Memorial Guard, thank you for hanging in there with us. Document number 216-13 is the Civil War Memorial Guard requesting permission to use Cabot Common for the 11th Annual Civil War Weekend event on Friday, September 20th, Saturday, September 21st, and Sunday, September 22nd. Joseph G. Bella, Secretary, had placed this on the agenda. Sir, can you state your name and address for the record, please?
Yes, Sean Sweeney, 506 Lowell Street.
Thanks for being here tonight, Sean. Can you tell us a little bit about your event?
Yep, well, this is the 11th annual. It's a living history event. We'll have living history presenters from infantry, probably not cavalry this year, historians, and whatnot. We will have the artillery again, and it's going to be on a similar vein as it has been in the past. We're trying to put on a free, educational and fun weekend.
Nice. I know your group has a good reputation, so when I ask you these questions, I'm not meaning it in any derogatory way, but
Sure.
we do have questions, as you know, about noise on the common.
Yes.
And similarly, we spend a lot of money refurbishing the common. I know you bring on cannons and things that are heavy. Just talk a little bit about how you handle prep, cleanup, and what your group does for noise and stuff like that.
Okay. Well, there are typically, and we have, have a lot of permits in place for that. There are typically fire pits because, they're it's part of the living history experience, and they are, camping
Right.
out there for the weekend, which are dug, and the soil is put aside and put back in and, covered up. And I was talking with Sean from community policing earlier. That's, something we'll be making sure is taken care of. That's done. Cannons, yes, cannons, well, they're fairly heavy. They have large wheels, so they don't really make a lot of, impact, actually.
Good.
But yeah, that's, so we would try to leave it at least as good as we found it. But actually, we police the grounds and remove any trash that might have been there before we started.
There you go. All right, great. Does anyone have any questions for the applicants?
Actually, you don't have horses?
Yes, the battery will be bringing their horses, yes, so.
Oh, yeah, okay. I know Councilman Calafio's always had an issue with the horses and who's cleaning up after the horses.
Yes, we have people who, it's good fertilizer. We have people who, desire it and compete basically to take it away. So we think that's been cleaned up reasonably in the past.
Good. The
continue to
same
do
thing
so.
I did point out to other groups too.
Yes.
If, again, like someone who's dropping off the cannon or whatever it is, if you need to bring a vehicle onto the common to drop something off, you need to stay on the roadways. And those vehicles they can't park their cars on the common overnight. Those have to get off, use the city hall parking lot for the weekend.
Yep.
There are other parking lots, I know up between the common and towards the Holy Rosary Way, there are several lots in there. But
Yes.
people cannot leave cars and vehicles on the common all weekend long. I just wanna make sure I'm thinking you're looking for a historical look, so you're not gonna want a lot of cars there to begin with, but that is a restriction that has to be enforced.
Yes, I'm very glad you said that, actually, because we've had, it's good to have someone backing us up on that, because, there shouldn't be there,
Right,
for
it should
all
not be
good
there.
reasons,
Yeah.
And we'll make sure that happens this year, because in
Thank
the
you.
past, it has not.
Council, any questions?
No question.
No. Can I get a motion to send that up to the full council?
So move.
Motion set up's been
Second.
made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Great, the same thing, Sean, if you or someone from your group can please be here on Tuesday evening, September 3rd, 7 PM meeting for the final vote.
Yep.
Just in case one of the other councilors have a question, but, I see you have all the sign-offs from the departments.
We do.
Your letter's pretty clear, paperwork's in order, so you should be all set.
Okay, you have the sign-offs, because I have copies too, but are you all set?
We do have it, yeah, it's in our packages, and all the sign-offs are on there.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, we're getting to you guys. Document number 226-13, Frontline Movement Christian Ministry. Sir, could you state your name and address for the record, please?
Thomas Orta, I live in 12 Border Street.
Great. Can you just tell us a little bit about your event?
Yes, this event is going to be our first anniversary of being here in the city of Lawrence as a ministry. We started Frontline Movement Christian Ministry as a church, but also to be an outreach to the community, to meet the needs, identify the needs, and meet the needs of the people in the city. And in a small way, for the last year, we have made a small impact in the city, and we just want to celebrate that by having our service, one of our services in the park, as well, and in the service with a family fun day, where everybody in the community is welcome to come. Everything we're gonna do there is free. We're gonna have free drinks, free popcorn. We're gonna have 2 bouncy houses, 2 big ones, with responsible people, making sure, of course, with strict rules, because I want to make sure that everybody that goes in there comes out the same way they went in. And also some live performances from people who grew up in the city of Lawrence and have changed their lives and have been good role models. They want to come and also contribute in this family fun day.
Nice. Sounds like a great event. And the time is, it says 9 AM to 11 for setup, 4 PM to 6 PM to take down, and the event itself will run from like 11 to 4, is that?
Yes, from 11 to 12:30 will be the actual service,
Okay,
and from 1 to 4 will be the family fun day.
nice. So there'll be a religious service at the beginning, 11 to
Yes.
12? Nice, okay. And then,
And it'll be in English as well.
sounds really good. The paperwork's in order, you have the sign-offs from all the department heads, your letter is very clear. The same things we've been saying to other people, if you need to bring a vehicle on to drop off chairs or whatever it is, please, the congregation can't be parking their cars on the common. Obviously, whoever's bringing in the bouncy house, they're gonna do it in a truck, drop off the truck and get the truck out of there, please. Have it park either at the city hall lot or on the Sunday, so there's no paid parking on Sundays,
Yes.
parking is free, so, encourage people to park not on the common. The same thing, we just ask you to have a cleanup plan in place, which we've asked everyone to have.
Yes.
And, if you keep your sound levels reasonable, there are people that will enjoy it, that live in the neighborhood, there's also people that's not their thing, so.
Yes.
That sounds good. Any questions, or?
I'd like to send up to the full council with a favorable recommendation, Madam Chair.
Motion's been made,
Second?
seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, great. So, sir, if you or someone from your group could please be here on that Tuesday, September 3rd, 7 PM meeting, just for the final vote, in case someone has a question. But your paperwork does seem to be in order. It seems like a very nice event.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. Are they together?
Who else? Do we have the 228?
Yeah. Is anyone here from the Lawrence Evangelical Church? Come on up, sweetie, I'm sorry. Document number 228-13 is the Lawrence Evangelical Church. They're requesting permission to use the Campagnon Common Park, corner of Lawrence and Haverhill Streets, across from the library, September 7th, 14th, 21st, and 28th, October 5th, 12th, 19th, and 26th, November 2nd, 16th, 23rd, and 30th, December 10th, cold out there, December 10th, 14th, 21st, 28th, from noon to 3 PM for religious service. And, you know you're not gonna be out there on the 29th, because he's gonna be there. You're gonna be there on the 28th, so that's good. Okay, could you please state your name and address for the record, please, ma'am?
Eulalia Feliz is my name, and you want my home address or the
Yeah.
church address?
Both, either fine, whichever.
Okay, we are located on 61-8 Warren Street in
61-8.
Lawrence, Massachusetts.
Warren.
Loring Street?
Warren.
Warren Street, I'm sorry.
Warren.
Warren. Great. Can you tell us a little bit about the events that you're gonna have all those days?
It's really not an event like those or the one that I already heard. It's, we have a prayer station there that we already had the permits. What we doing right now is adding more days to the end of the years. So what basically what we do is evangelize. The people cross by. If anyone needs prayer, we ask them if they want us to pray for them, and they do. Most of the time, they want prayer.
Yes, yeah.
It's amazing, and they want Jesus Christ. We offer to them, and they say, yes, I want to accept Jesus Christ, and I want to accept him in my heart. And then we mentioned where we are located, if they looking for some place where they can have somebody to keep giving them more information about what is Jesus Christ in their life. We are there to support them. And some others, they need prayer, but they already received Jesus Christ, and they just have no congregation no more. They went away from church, and then we try to make them to come back to congregate with us, or either where they were before, if they want to continue over there. To make a better community here, helps others that they don't know nothing else than doing a lot of different things that is not good for our community. We want to reach out for our city to have, if we will have better people, make them to have a good behavior, what is we had to do to have a better community, loving each other. I think we can make a difference in Lawrence.
Nice, very nice. Anyone have any questions for the applicant?
Madam Chair, just one question. So I'm looking at December 10th. December 10th is on a Tuesday. Is that right?
That was a mistake.
Oh, okay.
It's Saturday. We're gonna be there Saturday from 12. Every Saturday from 12 to 3.
So the 10th is actually the 7th.
Probably, yeah.
Yes.
So you're asking for Saturday, December 7th, right, instead of the 10th?
Exactly.
Okay, 10th is on a Tuesday.
I'm sorry.
That's fine. The only, I mean, I don't have a problem. I think it's a great event. The only thing is I'm looking at, we have so many churches in the city, and every week we have a new request. And sometimes I don't think it's fair to just block every Saturday for one church. I think other church, we want to give other church opportunities to utilize the park on a Saturday as well. But other than that, I mean, I don't have a problem. I just like to give other churches an opportunity too. Because it seems like you grab everything all the way from September 7th to December 28th every Saturday.
That was what they request me at the church to ask for.
Okay,
I
I
just doing what I was requesting. And I also gonna mention, we just have a table, a prayer station. There is not a big group of people around the park, and we walk around, yes, in front of the library or around the corner, all around the corner, but we really there. It's usually 4 or 6 of us from church. And there are even others to coming around that they want to do the same thing. If you guys need a space for them, we accept it too.
She's over.
Because we understand that too.
So, and in another word is that if another church requests permission to use the park, you will be able to be there and they can be able to hold the event?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think there is any problem because we're not cooking, we're not doing we're not even have a speaking, talking, like everybody's listening, so it's gonna be, as a matter of fact, we already had it, like two or three events right now, just passed, and we've been there, because we had the permits until August 31st. What we're looking is for more days. Don't ask me why in cold time in December. I
Yeah.
just obey what they request me to ask you here.
Okay. I'm okay with it. If there's no additional questions for the applicants, I'd be looking for a motion to send that up to the full council. Favorable recommendation.
So move.
Second.
Made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Madam Chair, if we can change the date from the 10th to the 7th?
To the 7th.
Okay. So when it goes up to the full council, make sure that the dates change.
Great. Thank you very much. So if you or someone from your group could please be here on Tuesday, September 3rd at 7 o'clock meeting, just in case there's a question, that will be the night of the final vote, and we'll approve that. So
September 3rd,
September 3rd is a Tuesday night,
Tuesday night at the
Yep.
same time.
same time, 7 o'clock. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
May
Right,
the
good
Lord
night.
bless you
Okay.
and keep you safe.
All right. I'm gonna go back to the top. Document number 117-13. Yeah.
Ask one request
Yeah.
before we begin the rest of the meeting.
Come on up.
It's just that we happen to have two members of the Historical Commission here, and the item was brought up. This year is the anniversary of the 150th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation. One of our founding fathers, Daniel Saunders, was part of the Underground Railroad, and where his homestead is where Metro Credit Union is today, in South Lawrence. He smuggled people from Fry's Village, where Mr. Fry had a wagon company. He would make wagons with false bottoms. They would come up into Lawrence. He would hide them overnight, and he would smuggle into his relatives and friends in Salem, New Hampshire, who would then bring them up into Canada while the slaves were escaping from the South. It's an important part of America's history, and we're, in conjunction with Metro Credit Union, we're going to be putting a bronze plaque up at the site where his homestead was, commemorating his work and our heritage of the city. We noticed that a portrait of Daniel Saunders hangs in the back of the auditorium, and we wanted to just ask, to whom do we need to address the request during the ceremony? Could we borrow the portrait to bring it to Metro Credit Union for that afternoon? Does anyone have any idea, how do you, I don't know, how do you, even to where to begin? Does it need to go to city council, or?
I would think to the
Because this is a
council.
piece of Lawrence's heritage, it's not being taken lightly. I don't want it to become a precedent that someone takes out this portrait and that
No,
portrait.
yeah.
You know,
Correct me if I'm wrong, Council President, you would know better than I, but my understanding is this is the council chambers, and that the council controls what happens inside this room,
exactly.
as opposed to other parts of the building that we don't control. So I do think we would be the people that have the authority to.
So we would
that.
address a letter directly to the council and then let it go. Does it need the time to go to subcommittees to come back up, or can it be addressed directly at the council?
What's your timeframe? When's your?
Well, we're hoping to do it sometime by October, to have the bronze plaque made and the installation. It's really dealing with Metro on their timeframe, but we want to do it before the holidays, before people are busy.
Yeah. We can take it as an emergency.
Yeah, we can do that, but
The only
I
thing-
think it's one of the things, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's just, I mean, I just think of art in general. I would want you to have access to it, but at the same time, I don't know how delicate, or how old, or how rotted that frame is, or how it would withstand being
Maybe
moved.
that we should do an inquiry first
Yeah.
prior to this. If not, and it feels that, we feel, or the recommendation is made that it could be either damaging or not proper to take something out like this,
Yeah.
in fear of setting precedent, then what I would suggest, then maybe we could just do another portrait, something of a smaller frame or something like that.
Yeah.
But I just thought that maybe we could even just do a ceremony and lay a wreath here during that weekend or something, because I don't want to endanger the piece either.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's a big piece.
Yeah,
Oh, it's the only one we have,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things is if you take it out of here, we're gonna want you to have insurance to make sure you protect it,
Right.
and we don't, I mean. we have to preserve
Maybe then the best suggestion would, even just reanalyzing the question, maybe the suggestion would be that maybe we could lay a ceremonial wreath here that week during whatever the city council meets at the opening ceremony, place a small wreath and indicate that, commemoration has been acknowledged of his part of the Emancipation Proclamation.
Yeah, and the other thing is I'm not good with technology, but I know people that are good with technology have the ability, when they take photos or something like that, to really reproduce them at high
Right,
quality.
a nice high quality, yeah.
Maybe you want to do something like that, too.
Maybe something like that could work better, yeah. I think that
just-
could be a better
I don't know the
alternative.
quality of, like, the canvas, how rotted it is, or the frame itself, and my fear is, if we wreck it, I don't
Yeah,
want to be known as the
shipping and
council that-
moving or anything of, like that age and everything else is a question. Maybe that would be the best alternative. Maybe we would do that, and instead of even moving or touching it, then maybe just place some sort of a wreath indicating that we're commemorating this person and all of the other. There wasn't the only Underground Railroad station in Lawrence. We know of 4 that existed. So that means Lawrence really was on the move with the Emancipation Proclamation. So we have a really important part of history,
I like it.
And I also just wanted to mention that there are over 2,000 Civil War veterans in Bellevue Cemetery as we commemorate and remember that history. Lawrence played a major part in that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Very educational. I'm going to go back to the agenda. Is that the plan? Document number 117-13 was a request for handicap parking at 112 Springfield Street by Onier Garcia. We do have the report back from Officer Scanlon, and it is a favorable report. He's not here to ask any questions about it, but what I was hoping is maybe I could just read it into the record. It just says that he's submitting the memo in response to document number 117. It's a request for handicap parking at 112 Springfield Street, handicap placard on file with the council office, and he's recommending making a handicap parking spot at the following location, which is from the northwest corner of South Union Street and Springfield Street to a point 276 feet, and from the northwest corner of South Union and Springfield Street to a point 296 feet. And this places the handicap parking spot on the north side of Springfield Street in front of 112 Springfield Street. And that was respectfully submitted by Officer Scanlon on June 13th. I don't know if that's a typo, but it is just saying June 13th, 2013. So I'm looking to send that up to the full council unless anyone has any questions or, so we're gonna send that up to the full council. Can I get a motion, please?
Make a motion to send document 117 up to the full council With a favor recommendation to order a public hearing?
Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Great, thank you very much. Next item I have here was the, document number 196-13 was the United States Citizenship and Immigration Services. They're requesting permission to use Campagnon Common Park for Constitution Day at the park on September 16th from 10 to noon. They're not here. I didn't know if we'd want to send that up to the full council and request that somebody be here at the meeting on the 3rd, because if we don't do that, the next meeting is then on the 18th, which will be too late. There's a
Madam
question.
Chair, it seems like they have, I'm sorry, Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
Madam Chair, it seems like all the documentation is here.
In order, yeah.
It's in order. I'd like to send it up to the full council with a favor recommendation, and also to send a letter to the applicant to be here on September 3rd, just in case any other councils have a question.
Perfect. So motion's been made,
Second.
seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All in favor? Yeah. Document number 197-13 was request for a stop sign at eastbound traffic on Irving Avenue at Jackson Street. This was requested by Andy Wall, the city engineer. At this time, I think we would be sending this to the Lawrence Police Department for review and traffic study.
So move.
Motion's been made,
Second.
seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to retable document number 197-13?
So move.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Document number 198-13 was requested by the Lawrence Retirement Board. I got correspondence from the Retirement Board asking us to please table this item until our meeting on September 5th. They were not able to appear tonight, so I'm just looking for a motion to table that item.
So move.
Second.
Motion to table has been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Document number 207-13 was with regard to parking at 311 Lowell Street. They were looking for a 15-minute parking spot. It was requested by Furman A. Rodriguez. He's the owner and manager of Rodriguez CD. I think I'm looking for a motion to send this out to the Lawrence Police Department for a recommendation and traffic study.
So move.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
And can I please get a motion to retable document number 207-13?
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Document number 215-13 was a request by National Grid and Verizon. They were requesting to locate poles and wires on Park Street at the intersection of Monmouth Street. It's requested by Jason Dwyer, and I know we had a representative here earlier tonight from National Grid. This was not part of what we sent up. I don't know if we want to send this up or keep this tabled at this level.
Madam Chair, if it's okay with you, I'd like to make a motion to table this item.
Motion to table's been made.
Second.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Document number 218-13 was a request for handicap parking at 212 East Haverhill Street. It was requested by Mr. William Collins. Going to be looking for a motion to send that out to the Lawrence Police Department for a traffic study and recommendation.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to retable document number 218-13?
So move.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Document number 221-13 was with regard to Shawshene Road. It's a request to make it a one-way. I'm looking for a motion to send that out to the Lawrence Police Department for a traffic study and recommendation.
So move.
Motion's
Second.
been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Can I get a motion to retable document number 221-13?
So move.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Document number 227-13 was with regard to Merrimack Street, both sides near Dolan Court. They're looking for residential parking spaces for the residents, 15-minute parking for the non-residents, and that's been requested by Councilor LaPlante. Any motion to send that to the Lawrence Police Department for a traffic study and recommendation?
So move.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Can I go motion to retable document 227-13?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's all the new business. Does anyone have any old business they want to take off the table?
Motion to adjourn, Madam Chair.
Motion to adjourn's been made. Seconded?
No. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much.
Okay, one I did not